It's that time of week again. It's time to make cheese. We do have a family milk cow, so milk's flowing, especially during springtime. We wanted to take this opportunity to film a series called Will It Cheddar because we have a lot of ideas rolling around in our brain of what we want to put in a cheddar cheese, and maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Like some of these ideas might be a little crazy, so we're gonna see. Today's idea is gonna be just different. Normally, we make just regular cheddar cheese. And it's funny because we have ARFID, so trying new foods,
Very strange to us, very foreign.
we don't try new foods. So it's going to be interesting how this series takes place. So of course we put all of our milks into a giant pot onto the stove. We want to get these milks to 86 degrees. So during this time, we're just going to get the stove on low heat. Maybe do a little cleaning. Yeah, and then this was our first mistake. We went outside, and it was wonderful. It was a beautiful day.
It was great outside, and we got a chance to look at the plants, and we had a chance to check on our chicks. They just hatched from the incubator.
Oh, we puttered around.
We had a great time.
It was great. No, and yeah, we had such a great time. There was one little detail that we forgot, and that was our cheese, our milk in the pot.
104. Whatever. I'm not going to waste it, so we're just going to deal. Okay, yeah, just deal. Whatever.
The milk got too hot, and we decided, okay, whatever, we're just going to do it anyways. But then it took all day for the milk to cool down to 86 degrees like we needed it to. So like by the time the milk had cooled down enough to reach 90 degrees or 86, at that point it was like 3 o'clock, and there was just no more time to make cheddar. So this is 24 hours later when we decide, okay, we're going to try again. Take two. Here we go.
Action.
Okay, so we're getting back up to 86 degrees, and trust us, we are not going anywhere. We're not going to the garden. We're not going to have a good time. We are just going to keep our eyes on the pot.
85. Okay.
So this is our favorite cheddar cheese culture. It's a mesophilic culture. It's called MM100. It's just our favorite so far. I know a lot of people have been using clabber as a natural culture for their milk.
I'd like to try that one day.
One day, yeah. We're not at that point yet. I like the consistency of this culture. It just has a really cheddar.
It has a really cheddary flavor.
Yeah.
So we're just going to stick with it because we like it.
One
day we'll use clabber, not today.
So we just add the culture and let it sit for about 45 minutes. We put it in a warm oven. Oh, okay. Well, little spills happen. That's fine. Anyway, we let it just sit in the oven for about 45 minutes.
We do want to keep this temperature pretty consistent, 86 degrees, and get stuff done in the meantime. Clean the kitchen, do whatever you want.
And then it's time to add the rennet, which we totally did not film.
There's a little malfunction with the phone.
Okay, yeah. To be fair, there was a malfunction. So add your rennet after it cultures. When the rennet is, you want to give the rennet like 45 minutes to set. I know it's a little confusing just with all of that going on, but this is after the rennet is in and it's set for 45 minutes.
You can see that clean break in the curds, and that means it's ready to be cut up. So we're just going to go ahead and cut those curds lengthwise and then across.
It's not picky. You know, you see some YouTubers that are really specific, like, oh, it's got to be 1/4 inch cubes. I don't think I've ever. No, we just like we wing it, yep, and then do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it's worked out perfectly for us.
And now it's time to play rock, paper, scissors to see the lucky person who gets to stir the curds.
This part's so satisfying that like we have to fight over, okay, who's going to stir these curds? Because you'll see in a minute, like it's just so much fun to sit there and stir and break up all these curds and watch them transform.
Like they change after a while,
and they start off super like thick and jello-y and pillowy. And
look at that, that's gorgeous.
Even looking at it right now,
it's gorgeous.
But then you just keep stirring and breaking up those large chunks and just making smaller chunks.
And by the way, use clean hands.
Yes.
If you're going to be making cheese with your hands, use very, very clean hands. People use spoons all the time, but I haven't.
Hands are better.
It just breaks it down a little bit easier, in my opinion.
And plus, you can sneak little cheese curd snacks, which is a total bonus. Right now we've got a time lapse going. I was trying to capture like the process of how much these curds break down and shape and size and stuff, and how much whey
They excrete.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
do really let go a lot of whey, and you can see that there. And we're trying to get it up to 100 degrees over the course of 30 minutes.
Yeah, and you want to try to do 2 degrees every minute, I want to say.
This isn't a cheese tutorial.
No.
This is just a cheese experiment.
Okay.
So if you're looking for a cheese tutorial, go look at some other YouTube channels, and this one's just for fun.
Eventually you want to get to this consistency though, which is very dry, very small. You want to just crumble them in your hands and then have them fall apart. And then at that point, you just want to remove the whey. We're just pouring it into a bucket for the pigs. It's kind of a labor here, you know. It's you have to pour and keep pouring, and try to keep that curd mass just kind of at the bottom.
The curd mass, it does settle quite a bit, and so it's okay, but you just want to pour it, and it's very heavy. But you just want to pour it into your pig bucket and get it out of the way.
So then that curd mass is going to sit and hang out in the pot for a while, probably about 5 minutes. It's really not that long, but we like to keep it in the oven, keep the curds warm. With
this
cheddar,
is so important with cheddar.
It is, yeah. With cheddar cheese, you want those curds warm
at all times.
Yeah, I don't know why or how, but that's just the way of the cheddar game. It just is.
So with that big curd mass, by the end of it, we're going to take it out, and this is going to start the cheddaring process. This is what makes cheddar cheese cheddar, and that's the cheddaring process.
Yeah, it's crazy that this is what makes cheddar cheddar. So you want to cut it up in 3 equal parts. We just did little pizza slices here. And over the course of 2 hours, you just want to stack them every 15 minutes and restack them. And you'll see in a minute
you'll
here.
See it. Okay. And just take a look at how these curds start out. They're big and thick, but you'll see over the course of 2 hours, as we rearrange them and restack them, they're going to become so much more condensed and rubbery, I want to say.
Yeah, it's almost like by the end of this, you'll see that like it's almost, it looks and feels like raw chicken. And I know that's kind of a gross analogy, but it's just so thick and rubbery and condensed, and you're just kind of stacking and restacking over and over until you reach that consistency, which takes about like 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah, and it's every 15 minutes.
Look at that. Look how much they've condensed over that. I think this is by the end of it, 2 hours later, and we're just, it's almost nothing compared to how they started. But we're going to keep putting them in the pot, keeping them warm, and stacking them until the next part of the cheddaring process.
So this next part here, you just want to take everything out. The recipe says to like cut your slabs into little cubes, but
found that it works just the same if you just rip apart the curds.
Yeah.
And so that's what we start doing here. I mean, look at the texture of those things. So flexible. So here we start tearing it up into little bite-sized pieces, individual curds at that point.
And then we don't film it, but we do just kind of stir the curds, keep them warm in the oven, keep those curds warm, and we stir them every 10 minutes while they're broken up like this. And then after about 30 minutes of stirring every 10 minutes, we do want to salt them.
So at this point, we start our salting process, and that's about a tablespoon of salt per gallon of milk that we use. It seems like a lot, and it is a lot, but
it's delicious.
It's wonderful.
You don't want undersalted cheese,
no.
so
you want to. Yeah, it's totally worth it, and you just got to trust the process on this one. We're just using a basic like Costco salt. It's
for a while we were using really fancy like Redmond's or Jacobson salt, but cheese uses so much salt that we just had to go for the cheaper stuff at this point.
Whatever.
Those cheese curds taste delicious. You always have to have a little bit of a snack when you're making cheese, because it's a labor of love and you deserve a snack.
And now finally, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. We have our very clean cheesecloth going into our cheese mold, and we have our blueberry salsa. That's right, our first episode of Will It Cheddar is involving blueberry salsa.
We canned this salsa like 2 years ago, I want to say, and we weren't really going to use it for anything, so we thought, let's just throw it in cheese.
It tastes really good.
It does.
The salsa tastes great, but we just wanted to use it for something
crazy.
Yeah. So
We just layered it up into the cheese curds, and this is where it gets a little bit crazier. Our cheese press does not fit into the oven, so for now, just for this first pressing, we want these curds to stay warm. So we just piled on a bunch of books
in this cast iron like loaf pan,
just to get some weight on there for the first like half an hour,
Yeah.
just to get things going.
Mhm.
But then after that half hour, we ended up taking it out, and then we put it in our normal cheese press, just to continue the pressing process, which takes 24 hours.
It does. You want to. We don't really show it here, but you do want to flip it about 5 hours later, and then press it again. You want a lot of pressure for cheddar. You want a lot of pressure and a lot of heat, but this cheese press does not fit in our oven, which is why we really wanted that.
That first pressing, but we sit it in the oven door and see, it works for us until we can get a better cheese press. So this is us just kind of checking on the cheese. This is probably about 5 hours later, I want to say, or 3 hours. At this point,
I think we decided like not to flip it at that point. We just wanted to give it more time, more pressure, and a little bit more heat. So we just put the follower back on and put it back in the thing.
The next day, because we totally did not film for the rest of the night, it was late.
It was late. We worked all day.
Yeah. So the next day, we decided to open up our cheese and just take a look at it, which was so exciting.
It's so exciting because it's gorgeous. Look at that. Look at that color. And it turned out really good. And it smells
like salsa.
It smells so good. So this is something I'm so excited to
try later, because it has to age, but
at least for a little while.
Yeah. But until then, this was a 3.5 pound cheddar, and this
is gorgeous.
So good.
If you want to see more and want to see an update, hit the subscriber bell and give us a follow.